Now there's a sight for sore eyes. I can see the monorail, which means we're back at Walt Disney World. And I'm ready to go full Christmas. And luckily, Epcot is with me. Look at this. I'm loving these giant globe ornaments. Right from the gate, the Festival of Holidays decorations are up. The planters are full of little Christmas trees with blinking lights. And there's no tinsel on Spaceship Earth, but I can feel the magic anyway. Landed at the airport at midnight last night. Got to Walt Disney World about, I don't know, 1:30 in the morning after I got my luggage and etc. And now we're officially back at the most magical place on Earth, at the most wonderful time of the year, and I fibbed a little bit. I said I was ready to go full Christmas. Well, not quite yet. I'm ready to get ready to go full Christmas. Before I can do that, I gotta reacclimate myself to my Florida surroundings. And would you look at the size of that Epcot ball? Spaceship Earth, 165 feet tall. From the ground to the top of it, 180 feet. And when it lights up at night, it might be the world's biggest Christmas bulb. Oh, look at this. Standing here in the Garden of Walt, I can see poinsettias decorating either side. The founder of the feast sitting all alone. Happy holidays, Walt. Merry Christmas. And boy, what a view he has. I can hear Christmas music, but I can also hear some music coming out of the little dance area over there. Oh yeah, they're going full dance party mode over in this area. I think they just wrapped things up because I saw Bruno dart backstage. They had a little Celebration Encanto show going on. Mickey and friends holding down the meet and greet fort next door. You know, I've been here quite a bit since they finished construction, but I have to be honest, I am still getting used to the new Epcot, the new areas in Epcot at least. Look at this other stage over here. We got Joyful, a celebration of the season. So Christmas music is on its way for later today. Ah, well looky what we have here. Looks like Communicore Hall is where you meet Santa this year. I think I've only been in this new Communicore Hall maybe once or twice ever. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, look at that nice Frozen style backdrop. Looks like they've got the festival merch in the Communicore Hall in full force. And look, there he is, old Kris Kringle himself, Santa Claus. Dude, that is one great Santa Claus right there. It always amazes me the way that Santa has so much time just before Christmas to meet and greet with all of his fans. Meanwhile, the elves are still back at the North Pole working overtime. Well, Santa's working too. He's working the crowd here. Look at that. What a great photo op right there. That's a fun pic. Ooh, but what is this back here? Oh my word. You know what I think this is? A gargantuan gingerbread Spaceship Earth. I'm not sure if it's real gingerbread because it is covered with glitter. Is there such a thing as edible glitter? That is amazing right there, but look at this. Look what they've got back here in the little food section. Experimental prototype cookies of tomorrow. And I just noticed that the tables in here look like giant Spaceship Earth gingerbread cookies. That is amazing. Now during the Festival of Holidays, obviously they have all kinds of fancy treats, lots of different foods. A few are gluten-free, so I should be able to check out some of them as we spend some more time in Florida. But look at this back here. Christmas plate spinning. Amazing. I wish I had some kind of wacky skill like that. Dude, I don't know how they do it. How do you learn to do that? Is that something you get into because your dad was into it, like a long family tradition? Or do you just decide one day in college, I'd like to spin some plates professionally? Either way, right as I walked away, I could see they grabbed some volunteers, some kids from the audience. They might be inspiring those kids towards a future career path. They gotta keep the plate spinning going. Okay, they've got this girl here holding the sticks. She's got a helmet on her head. They are bringing the plates up to speed. People are clapping. People are starting to murmur. I had to come back to see this. Okay, they've handed off the plates. That's amazing. Oh, look at this. They're putting a third plate on her head. Triple plate spinning. Triple plates. Now that's worth applause. Now they did put a helmet on her. I'm wondering if that's just to spin the plate or if those are actually glass plates or are they special plastic plates? I just learned there's a lot I don't know about professional plate spinning. Well, as a wise philosopher once said, all I know is that I don't know nothing. Oh, it's so great to be back in frickin' Florida. Look at that Spanish moss up in the trees, palm trees blowing in the wind, monorails going by. Look at the land back there, the seas back behind me, the imagination pavilion in front of me. I'm getting excited about life right now. Because right before this, back in California, my life was mostly helping to ship out a bunch of hot sauce, being ill and worried about my troubles. Now you can't run away from trouble. There ain't no place that far. So I'm sure I'm still gonna be struggling with my health issues, etc. while I'm here, but I hope to get a lot done on this trip. Rev up and start going full Christmas at Disney World. See what epic universe Versus first Christmas is like, and maybe, if I'm lucky, even scope out some Christmas alligators. Now, I love the old Future World. That's the front part of the park we've been roaming around in. But of course, the best thing about Epcot, to me anyway, is that you also have the World Showcase. All those different miniature country pavilions back there with so many different Christmas traditions to explore. It hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been a lifetime since I've wandered around the World Showcase. And I can even see the big Christmas tree out there beckoning me closer. But first, I'm heading backwards towards Spaceship Earth for something else I've been looking forward to forever. Some food. I can't eat when I'm traveling by airplane anymore, so I am starving. And as much as I'd like to try whatever kind of Christmas creations they have that are gluten-free, for the Festival of Holidays, I've really been missing these gluten-free chicken tenders and fries. Oh, that was so good. Now I got a bowl full of jelly, just like Santa Claus. I almost forgot about Guardians of the Galaxy. I can't wait to spend part of my Christmas season in space. And speaking of space, look at this little garden space right across the way. Who's that over there? Star-Lord. They got Star-Lord wandering around the gardens over here. I don't think I've ever seen him walking around as like a walk-around character here before, but I never knew where to look. Well, now I know. He's just playing in the garden. Man, they still haven't done anything with the old Wonders of Life pavilion, huh? I know they were gonna build that play pavilion. Hopefully that plan still comes to fruition. It'd be nice to see it doing something, but look at this, Mission Space. It has been so long since I've taken a ride on this thing. London, my son, was obsessed with it when he was little, so we would go on it over and over again until one day a lady next to him spilled her food. And keep in mind, the only place you're allowed to carry food on this ride is in your stomach. So anyway, that put kind of an end to our Mission Space career. But one day I will return to Mission Space. Hey, is that the beautiful sound of Test Track I hear over there? I completely forgot about Test Track. I forgot they completely redesigned the inside. I have never been on it. It's gonna be like a little Christmas bonus. See, this is why I decided to get up and head to Epcot today on my little recon mission. Acclimate to the weather, which frankly is not that bad. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. It started out a little chilly this morning. Now it's warmed up. The sun is nice and hot, but we got a nice cool breeze drifting by. I mean, compared to the last time I was here in summer, this weather is practically perfect in every way. All right, I'm fed, I'm watered. I think it's time to head towards the World Showcase. Ooh, but look at these nifty gifties. Look at these Disney World tote bags. Those are actually real thick, nice quality. Got those fuzzy Mickey hats and the baby Mickey plush and the Mickey and Minnie that I just saw at Disneyland the other night. I mean, obviously the Disney World versions say Walt Disney World instead of Disneyland on them, but pretty much the same stuff you see in California, including the necklaces and the bubble wands, with one exception. What the heck? I have not seen those at home. Would you look at the size of those Christmas bulbs? These things are gotta get you in. Oh my, oh, look at that thing. Dude, it is not nighttime yet, so it's not yet appropriate, but I've got to get me one of those. Ah, the heck with it. We're in the area anyways. Let me look over here at this booth. All right, got your Mickey Christmas mugs at the bottom, and then this Celebrate Holiday Magic Festival mug thing here. Looks like Scentsy is once again doing their little sponsorship deal. They got some of their products over here. You can get some nice smells coming out of Mickey's sleigh. And then look at this merchandise here. What a joy. I also got some of the official festival merch back there. I will save that. I'm sure we'll see that at the World Showcase. Speaking of which, we are almost there. You can see the big Christmas tree just forward a little ways as the monorail passes overhead. Then I look to my left and what do I see? 50th anniversary Figment is still here. It's also overstimulating. Okay, I was saving my entry into the World Showcase for this bridge here, this one that goes right down the middle, so I could see the big Christmas tree. But now, look at this across the way over by Imagination. What is that giant candy cane tent over there with giant snow globes? What is that? Like I said, overstimulated. All right, we are doing it. We are entering the World Showcase, and behold, the Epcot Christmas tree covered with ornaments representing all the countries of the World Showcase, as well as being topped with an angel holding the earth in the palm of her hands. You ever notice angels are always he's in the good book, but on Christmas trees, they're always she's? What's up with that? All right, look at these ornaments. We got several globes in there, as you would expect. And right there, you can see a UK ornament. You got the Union Jack there. I think you got the Japanese flag on that one. Not sure whose flag that is right there, but they got flags from all over the world on this tree, which is also absolutely massive. What's crazy is that is a 60-foot tall artificial tree, and they stopped using real trees like in the mid-1990s. I mean, it's a lot easier just to assemble a plastic tree with a crane, a couple of guys, and then just keep it in storage, you know, in a warehouse or something like that, than it is to hunt down several massive real Christmas trees every year. That part's perfectly logical. What surprises me is they didn't do that at Disneyland in California until 2008. I guess they just wanted to keep the tradition of having at least one real Christmas tree alive. But I mean, it took almost 10 years for them to switch over there after they had already done it here. All right, maybe that's only interesting to me. Maybe that's only interesting to me. Anyway, it was just a thought. Look at this. It feels so good to be back at the World Showcase Lagoon. Maybe it's the health stuff or all the hot sauce shipping or other trips that I've been on, but it feels like it's been so long since I've been here, and I'm really enjoying this weather. Normally when I come to Florida, I'm like, it's cloudy, why? I come to Florida for the sunshine, but somehow it's adding to the Christmas ambiance. All right, look at this right across the way, our first festival booth signing holiday sweets and treats, and look at this. They are promoting the holiday cookie stroll. Look at this. You can travel around the world, get all these different types of cookies. Apparently, they're also offering a peppermint shake. Look at, I'm all about peppermint when it comes to mints in your mouth or candy canes. I've never liked it in anything else. And the other day, at home in California, Allie made me try her peppermint hot chocolate. Almost threw up on Main Street, USA. Whoa. It was definitely not my favorite combination of flavors. Okay, look at this. Mele Kalikimaka Holiday Kitchen, a little Hawaiian flavor here. Also part of the holiday cookie stroll, but look at this. They got some Kahlua pork, some lomi lomi salmon right there. You got things that are sweet and savory. All this booth is missing some kind of tiki up there, a little Santa tiki. Okay, I backtracked just a bit, but it's because I wanted to see what was going on over here. Looks like they've got the Noche Buena Cochina over there, which means the good night kitchen, I think, in Spanish. But this is what I could see from across the way. Look at this little tent area with all the poles wrapped up like candy canes covering this playground area, which we're not so interested. But I could see these giant snow globes or giant ornaments from across the way. Ooh, I can smell that peppermint smell. Those LEDs are strobing like crazy in there. Maybe they're European. But look at all that beautiful candy on display. Whenever you have any smells here, you can tell they're sponsored by Scentsy. I definitely smelled that peppermint smell. Ooh, what's this? What's this? Ooh, vanilla. Whenever I smell like fake vanilla smell, it always reminds me of vanilla candles, which in turn always reminds me of Malcolm in the Middle. If you know, you know. Look at this little Christmas cottage. This one smells like orange and raspberries. And last but not least, they got the sleigh ride over here that smells like pine cones. It took a little backtracking, but checking that out just made sense. Okay, World Showcase, World Showcase. We'll have plenty of time for sniffing more things later. Wow, Feliz Navidad. Look at Christmas at the Cantina. Wow, Prospero Año y Felicidad. Dude! Look at this bird right here. He's having a Merry Christmas. He got a big old fry in his mouth. Enjoy that, buddy. You enjoy that. Not as festive on the outside of the Great Pyramid over here. I'll tell you what's funny though. I still don't have real ID, so in order to fly, I have to use my passport, which had to be renewed. And it was gonna take forever, right? I wasn't gonna have it in time to make it to Florida on this trip. So Allie paid for like an express emergency renewal. What she didn't tell me though, is that in order to get that, you have to have a ticket to a foreign country. And so unbeknownst to me, she bought the cheapest ticket to Mexico that she could find online that would have left just a couple of days ago. I had no idea, or else I would have followed up on it, right? Hey, Mexico! So basically, I had to pay for a $100 round trip ticket to Guadalajara in order to fly here to Florida, and I had no clue. What's Christmas like in Guadalajara anyways? Is it anywhere near as awesome as Christmas in the Plaza de los Amigos? I don't see how it could be. Look at that, it's so funny. It's just a couple of light up Christmas garlands decorating La Plaza out here, and it looks fantastic. You just descend the stairs to this gentleman's little booth right here full of little alebrijes. Apparently these are all hand carved and painted in Oaxaca, which is why they are not inexpensive. You know what's funny? Later in life, post-Disney, Disney Imagineer Rolly Crump, that's the guy who inspired a lot of the stuff in the Haunted Mansion, Tower of the Four Winds, the It's a Small World facade at Disneyland, carved the Tiki Room Lanai statues. He did a lot of artwork in inspired by the look of these alebrijes. Looks like there's some kind of kids activity area over here, a little coloring. Got some little statues for Dia de los Muertos, because nothing says Christmas fun like death. I don't think I've ever noticed the stuff that was in this little booth before. Look at this, I got all this kind of custom glass stuff over here. Lots of stuff to enjoy your tequila shots in. For years, nothing sold at a Disney park could be called a shot glass. They'd call it a toothpick holder. I wonder if they're still keeping that facade up. It's got a little glass agave in there. That's cool. Then it looks like they've got some Mexican chocolate over here. And interestingly, on the other side, a whole bunch of Mexican snacks, candy as well as some hot sauce right here. Look at that hot sauce. Got a little sombrero and a little serape on it. Ooh, poblano and habanero. I have got to buy some of this. It's not expensive because it's mass produced. Unlike my Random Land hot sauce, you know, just saying. I never noticed this little skeleton marionette over here. Great outfit. Yes, I'm definitely a big fan of hot sauce, but I'm trying not to think about hot sauce right now, right? Taking a break. However, if you didn't know, I guess I should mention that I did indeed come out with my own Random Land hot sauce. And there are still a very few bottles of it left for sale on randomland.com. That's why Allie is still back home for a couple of days. She is wrapping up, literally, the last of the bottles that can be shipped before Christmas. We get our next batch at Christmas, so those obviously won't be able to ship out until afterwards. But if you still want to give it as a Christmas present, you can always buy a little gift card on randomland.com. And that is the last I want to talk about that, because between making it, then ordering it, then reordering it, then shipping it, and all the stuff, I'm not burnt out on the flavor of Random Land hot sauce, but I'm getting a little burnt out talking about it. And yet, if I can take up a couple more seconds of your time with this, just want to mention, a lot of times when I have to repeat something video after video, people will get like, oh, come on, you keep saying that. Why do you keep repeating yourself? Well, you'll notice 300,000 subscribers, and the way YouTube works lately, I'm lucky if 30,000 people see each video. That means no matter how many times I repeat myself, there are still people who don't know things. And look it, that's Norwegian Santa Claus right there. I just got a little tiny glimpse of him before he started to disappear into the wandering reindeer shop. Just a little peek. Hopefully I can see a little more of Norwegian Santa Claus throughout the trip, because he looked pretty good. Not as good as this Norwegian wood though, huh? Isn't it good? Last time I was here for Festival of the Holidays, I believe they referred to him as a barn Santa. And it's one of the coolest things about the World Showcase that many, not all of the countries, but many of the countries put on little folk tradition displays, like Barn Santa here in Norway. I think Père Noël in France, right? French Santa. La Befana over in Italy. That's a Christmas witch, if you didn't know the story. What can I say? Italians are weird. Hey, maybe we'll see her up here in a little bit. If not, you can always go back and watch her in our last Festival of Holidays video. And one place where there are no Christmas witches is in China. For many, many years, you could not celebrate Christmas at all in China. I've heard that's changed now. Like in some of the major cities, they'll put on Christmas decorations at the mall, and some young people will exchange gifts. I think the few churches that are allowed to operate there are allowed to celebrate Christmas, but it is still kind of a rare thing, you know, not officially sanctioned by the state. So out here they have the Chinese ambassadors explaining Lunar New Year. Gung Hei Fat Choi, everyone. Gung Hei Fat Choi. Something that they do have going on here in China, though, is part of the Christmas scavenger hunt. It's another one of those things where you spend like $12 and you get a little paper plate with stickers on it, which you apply to your little map one by one as you travel around the World Showcase and discover all the little Olafs. I'll probably try and do that scavenger hunt myself if I have time on this trip. It looks like I got a little spoiler over here in China. Western religions may not be allowed, but Olaf's okay in China. John Wick? Ooh, now let's see if there's a little Christmas in Africa going on over here. I'd assume if there was, most of it would be going on at Animal Kingdom. Most people don't think of Africa and Christmas together, but Africa actually has some of the oldest Christian churches in the world. Some of the very first in Egypt and Ethiopia, just to name a few. Sub-Saharan Africa has become very Christian in recent years, so they probably do celebrate Christmas down there, but I'm not seeing much of it at the outpost over here. Wow, look at this. Look at this beadwork right here. That is so many tiny little beads right there. That would take me a lifetime to make one of those. And a pair of jeweler's loops. I can't even look at my phone without reading glasses anymore, much less mess with tiny beads. Oh, look at these nutcrackers right here. Got a nutcracker holding some wine right there. We got a Mexican nutcracker with some maracas. And look at this, Uncle Sam. And he's holding the freaking Liberty Bell. Now that's the way you crack some nuts. Dude, I can't tell you why, but I actually really like that. See what's in the rest of this holiday market booth. Got some Christmas tea, some Christmas pastries, Christmas ornaments like your classic Santa or your King Charles or Corgi or Queen Elizabeth. What a wonderful, weird mix. Ooh, these are some strange Christmas baubles over here. Literally baubles, look at them. They're bobbing along, bip-bopping along to that Christmas music. All kinds of more glass ornaments. There are still places at Disney World where you can buy these and have them customized, have your name or your family name put on them. Ooh, and there's some pretty fancy limited edition Disney ones in here. So much Disney Christmas merch exists these days. Oh, including that little map, that Olaf's Holiday Tradition Expedition. That's that scavenger hunt I was talking about. What's up with this crowd over here at the little Bavaria booth as we approach Germany? Oh my gosh, what's this guy doing? Oh, he's got a little Christmas marionette thing going on over here. That is so cool. I love that. Hello.
Hello.
Is that a Christmas badger?
Yeah, I'm Bernie Badger.
Bernie Badger, I love it.
Advanced calendar puppetry from Mika.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a whole show, Misha's Advent Calendar Puppetry. He does this several times throughout the day. He was just telling me it's an advanced form of puppetry, and I believe him. That's a lot of strings to not tangle. See, look at that character right there. He's got some eggs in his basket. He's just having to untangle them. Even the pros have to untangle the puppets. Got some holiday traditions of Germany information right here. Look at the size of that nutcracker. Apparently, the Germans are claiming that they originated in Germany. And of course, they also take credit for inventing the Christmas tree and adorning it with the first candles. Look at this. He heard me talking about German Christmas traditions. He goes, "You're a detective. I also have a character that's a detective." Oh, thanks, man. Free postcard. I wish I had something to give him back. Oh, there's Snow White over there meeting and greeting at her wishing well here in Germany, which I think, I gotta be honest with you, might be the best looking Christmas country, right? I mean, even in real Germany, there's the traditional Christmas marketplaces. Like I said, they love to take credit for the Christmas tree, the nutcracker, Santa Claus, right? Kris Kringle over there. Christmas beer. They've come up with tons of stuff. Strudel, der Wiener Schnitzel, the Reformation, cuckoo clocks. What can't those Germans do other than conquer Russia in the winter? But don't feel bad. Even Napoleon couldn't pull that one off. Ooh, look at this, the traditional Steiff original teddy bears right there. That's right, Steiff, German company, claims responsibility for inventing the classic teddy bear. And look at the little Mickeys they've got here, holding their own little Christmas bears. Now those are some high quality plush Mickeys. And look at the little Duffy they've got right there. Not inexpensive, but apparently very collectible. Now look at this, they got a Steiff, Dumbo, and even Eeyore. That's the happiest Eeyore I've ever seen.
Thanks for noticing me.
Definitely a good place to get some Christmas presents, especially if you're into Gal Gadot. I will tell you something true right now. You'd be cuckoo not to think of Germany when it comes to Christmas, that's for sure. They like a wunderbar Christmas. I don't know if I'll ever make it to real Germany, but at least I'll always have Epcot. I just realized if we keep exploring at this rate, we're gonna see all of the festival before we're really ready to. But look at this over here in Italy. Speaking of La Befana, I can actually see her back there doing her presentation. See, the story goes the Magi stopped by her house on their way to see the baby Jesus. She didn't have a gift ready to go by the time she made her little doll to give to the newborn king and ran outside. The star was gone, and ever since, La Befana has been blessed or cursed, however you look at it, to roam around at Christmas time and deliver her little gifts to girls and boys in Italy. But see, she goes out January 5th, I believe, with her little gifts because, like I said, she was late. She missed the star, so she spreads a little extra Christmas joy after the fact. I love it, dude. I love this. Speaking of Italy, my good friend Adam the Woo is over in real Italy right now. To say I'm jealous would be a massive understatement. It's the mother country of my mother's family. Although most of my family are not from northern Italy or Venice or even Rome. They're from Terracini and Palermo on the island of Sicily. Which means we're Italian, but we're also much, right? You got North African, Greek, you got a little bit of everything from Sicily. A little French, a little sub-Saharan African, a little bit of Arab, a little bit of everything there, but mostly a giant chunk of Italian as well. We were Romans, we were Greeks, we were all of the above. I gotta get back there someday. That is on my bucket list, right? Get back to the old country. One of these days, someday, Jennifer, someday. Anyway, I wish he was here. I think he may join us before we leave Florida. I hope so anyway. And Allie won't be here for a few days, so she packs up all the hot sauce. By the way, I just ran into 3 different people from Southern California who said they bought the hot sauce but haven't tried it yet. I'm like, no, you gotta try it. So for the moment, I'm flying solo, acclimating, just getting ready to party. Okay, I know that's not supposed to be Santa Claus, but if you think about it, if that was the real Santa Claus, that would be the perfect disguise. Nobody would ever see it coming. Anyways, we made it to America. Can you believe it? We're finally in the United States, which is probably exactly what my great-grandfather and my great-great-grandfather said when they reached Ellis Island from Sicily 120 years ago. That's why I will forever be grateful to be in this country. I have kept the wisdom of my ancestors. They knew this was the worst country on earth, except for all the others. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to be part of the cradle of liberty. And in that spirit, behold, the American Christmas tree, red, white, and blue all over that sucker. Look at that, we got some striped bunting, there's a couple of American flag bows, also a pineapple on here, right side up, of course. More fruit than I was expecting on the American Christmas tree. I don't think I've ever stuck any pears on my tree. If I did put some pears on my Christmas tree, then I'd have to get a partridge. It'd be a whole thing. Look at the big stage over here. It's looking beautiful. Apparently tonight they're having the candlelight processional, so Epcot's gonna be packed later, that's for sure. Looks like they got Jordan Fisher for that one. They're also still having Luminous, the Symphony of Us at night, so that'll be fun to check out at least at some point on this trip. I love being in the USA. All right, well, it's dawned on me that if I keep going at this rate, I'm gonna see everything for the festival and won't save any for later. Plus, I've still got some errands to run, supplies to get, and people to meet up with today. I am not completely alone. I was invited on this particular trip, so I think I might say goodbye to the World Showcase for now and head on over to Hollywood. Hello there, bird. Bird is the word, or so I've heard. Oh, this is crazy timing. There's Père Noël right there. Father Christmas. Père Noël. Bonjour, Père Noël. Good timing, and now that I've made it back to France, I'm within striking distance of the back exit that takes us to the boat to Hollywood Studios. I could take the Skyliner. I mean, I'm not a big fan of heights, but they don't really bother me. What bothers me a lot more is just being stuck in one of those things if you have to go to the bathroom or something. I've seen them stop and be stopped far too long for that to be my go-to option, you know what I mean? Ooh, I hope I didn't miss the boat over here. Ooh, we're gonna make it aboard the good old Friendship 5 over here, nice. All right, off we go. Couple of minutes, couple of stops, and we'll be in Hollywood Studios. All right, I'll spare you the minute by minute on the boat ride. Suffice it to say that it's the only place that it's actually felt Florida-ish. A little swampy on that boat, but you know what? It's over now. We've made it to Christmas in Hollywood. Disney Florida version's Hollywood. It isn't like the real Hollywood, cause it doesn't smell like pee and desperation. Dude, gee whiz, boy howdy, golly gee, what is up with Hollywood Studios? Granted, I haven't walked into Magic Kingdom yet this season, but this has to be the Christmassiest park of them all. Look at all this, I love this. Sprinkling a couple of big fat raindrops now, but that's okay, because I am feeling jolly. Earlier this year, I did a whole video about secrets of Disney's Hollywood Studios. Spent quite a bit of time here on that trip. When I first started coming to Disney World, I probably spent the least amount of time in Hollywood Studios, probably because it, you know, looks like home. All of these buildings are based on real buildings in Hollywood or LA, California, many of which still exist. And I think, you know, when I was 16 and got my driver's license, I was in Hollywood all the time. When I was younger, there was a couple of different out-of-state people who moved to California to be in or sell merch for my band, or other bands would come visit us on tour. So we'd always end up rolling out to Hollywood so they could see the Walk of Fame, see some movie star houses. So for years, I think I was just burned out on the whole Hollywood thing. But Hollywood Studios, on the other hand, has just grown and grown and grown on me. Not only does it take you back to the heyday of Hollywood, when Hollywood itself was something amazing to visit, rather than just sort of a crummy suburb of Los Angeles where almost no movie stars live now. But the amount of vintage, mid-century Christmas decor they packed into this place, especially since they started doing a Christmas party here called Jollywood Nights, which I believe they're doing tonight, although I'm not going tonight, has just endeared this place to me more than I ever thought possible. At Christmas, Hollywood Studios is the jam, is the jelly, and the peanut butter. Like, look at these deer. My grandma had tons of 1950s ceramic deer in her house back in the day. She had basically every kind of 1950s made in Japan Christmas bauble you can imagine, and I love that that stuff. Little German Christmas ornaments, little Japanese Christmas ornaments. Basically all the Christmas themed Marshall Plan merchandise you can think of. Now you're gonna have to hear me repeat some of this when we come back to Hollywood Studios and just focus on this. But in the meantime, as far as a first day, as far as a recon day goes, this is amazing. By the way, I just saw these new custodial uniforms in Epcot. Those look pretty snappy. Those are a lot better than the all-white uniforms they've classically had at Disney parks. I've always wondered how they managed to sweep up everything and work with all the trash and everything without getting those white uniforms dirty. Anyway, we're back and it feels weird to be back. Because the last time I was here, it was just before the final days of Muppet Vision 3D, which has now already gone the way of the dodo. The first time I came back here, they still had the New York streets. They still had that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground. Star Wars Land wasn't a thing yet, so they still had the little backlot tour even. And this was the one area that, although they kind of skinned it more modern, right? They upgraded it. In terms of its exterior look, this area was kind of the last piece of that original MGM theme park that opened here in 1989. Muppet Vision was sort of the last of a breed of old school rides. Gone forever now, making way for Monstropolis, dude. That's gonna be kind of awesome though. I do like Mike and Sully. I do like Monsters, Inc. It's a good fit for this park. It's just sad that Muppet Vision had to go. I do like that Harryhausen's is going to make an appearance though. Actually, I went to Pixar this summer and met a couple of the guys who run the studio. They were fantastic people. Like genuinely some of the nicest, warmest, most welcoming people I've ever met. Such a creative place, Pixar. It's one of the few studios that I'm like, I actually actively follow. Like, what are they going to do next? Anyway, because I only had a kid-sized chicken strips earlier, let me grab a little bit more food from my go-to spot here, the Backlot Express. That's the backstage of a movie studio themed restaurant right next to the old school Star Tours. Between the two of them, sort of the last remaining bits of the original Disney MGM studios. Kind of a cool throwback, you know? It feels like you're on the backlot somewhere, or in the paint department, or the prop department. Got the Indiana Jones stunt show going on right next door. Another old school attraction I love that I hope never goes away, because there's no way to improve it. Well, scratch that. There was one way to improve it, the same way you improve A Christmas Carol with the Muppets. Remember when the Muppets came to Walt Disney World? They need to release that on Blu-ray. All right, let me grab my grub real quick and we'll continue our thoughts on Hollywood Studios changing. Okay, now I'm really full. I'm halfway to my goal of playing Santa Claus this year. All right, now you heard me mention Jollywood Nights. That's the Christmas party here, the after-hour special ticketed event that only happens at Hollywood Studios. I believe I am slated to attend one with some friends this year. We went to the very first year's Jollywood Nights. I would say if you only have the money or the time for one party, make it Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party at the Magic Kingdom. Jollywood Nights was very cool. There's some rare characters out here. Look at Pinocchio's out here early for Jollywood Nights. Jiminy Cricket came out, Geppetto. They had some rare Disney afternoon characters over there. But aside from characters, it mostly felt like a much more grown-up party. They had some cocktail areas. People were dressed up in 1920s clothing and watching old-timey bands play. It was pretty cool. It just felt more grown-up and a little less wacky and just a little bit less to do than the party at the Magic Kingdom. But again, I'm basing that on the first year of Jollywood. I've heard they've spruced things up a little bit. I'm interested to see how it compares to the original. In the meantime, here's the other grand closure at Hollywood Studios. This whole area over here that until very recently was the Star Wars launch bay is all closed off now, all undergoing a transformation. Look at that, the giant archway there that used to say Disney MGM Studios is gone. What they're replacing all that launch-based stuff with is the Animation Academy. So the Sorcerer Hat, in a way, is returning to Hollywood Studios, which is kind of cool. I don't know what all that's going to entail. I mean, as you can see here, they're advertising the magic of Disney animation. When they opened this place as Disney MGM Studios, they actually worked on some of the animated features here, including, I believe, Pocahontas. They filmed a couple of movie studios here. They were trying to turn it into sort of a real working movie studio attraction. They strayed very far from that theming in later years. It's interesting, though, that a little portion of it is kind of coming back in a way. So that's kind of cool too. And I'm not up to date on when the transition is officially taking place, but the Muppets won't entirely be removed from Hollywood Studios, as they are in fact taking over from Aerosmith. Well, at least Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem are down there at Rock and Roller Coaster. Dude, it's so awesome out here. I mean, at Christmas time, all the Disney parks are 10 times more awesome at night when you see everything all lit up, which I'm sure we'll get to. I'm sure we'll be seeing over the next couple of days and nights. But in terms of a first day in Florida at Walt Disney World, this has been pretty epic. Soaking in a little bit of that Christmas cheer. Well, that's it for Hollywood Studios. Had to catch the boat back to Epcot, and now that I'm here, just as the sun goes down below the clouds to give one last sunny little kiss to Epcot Center. I gotta meet up with some friends in here, see what the plan's gonna be for the next 2 weeks, and get ready to go full Christmas at Walt Disney World. But I'm not done yet today. I think there might be one more exciting stop. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, night has fallen, mission accomplished with hanging out with the friends. The UK is looking nice and festive. A little too festive as the nighttime crowds head in. So it's time to make our way out of Epcot to the next stop. It's funny, my dad is Canadian, you know, I just visited some family up there this summer. I've never spent a Christmas in Canada. Oh wow, look at that monorail go by. With the Christmas colors underneath, Spaceship Earth is now lit up. Soon there'll be some Christmas colors displayed on that bad boy as well. And then look at the Christmas tree. Wow. Shines up like a new penny. Wait a minute, they're not gonna make pennies anymore. What are we gonna say now? Oh, that's brilliant. Look at that angel all lit up there. You can see the moon peeking through the clouds. What a beautiful first night at Walt Disney World. Oh, looks like a lot of other Christmas tree appreciators are here as well. Everybody's lined up to take a fun pic. I'm just trying to get out of here with the memory of where I parked intact. I've only ever lost the car here that one time. That memory's burned into my head forever. Oh, look at this. Some amazing timing right when I get behind Spaceship Earth. Look at it. Glowing like a big old peppermint you would have found in Grandma's old candy dish back in the day. Remember those Christmas hard candies? Does anybody make those anymore? One of my vivid memories is going to the grocery store with my grandma and scooping out a bunch of that hard candy to fill up her Christmas candy dishes. They're playing some soft Christmas music. Look at this, look at the new lounge inside Spaceship Earth. You can see the bar right there all lit up. What is it called, Geo 82 or something? I know it takes a reservation. I don't really drink, not very often, and even then only like a sip or two of something, maybe a tiki cocktail, something like that. But it might be worth getting a reservation of that sometime just to be able to look out and have that crazy view. It is kind of ironic though. Walt Disney wanted his park to be different from fairs and cheap amusement parks, and one of the main things he didn't want was the public consuming alcohol in his parks. And then right above the statue of Walt the Dreamer, a bar. I leave it up to you to decide whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. All I'm saying is it is a thing. Anyway, I've wasted too much time. I always procrastinate when leaving Epcot every single freaking time. But like I said, I've got one more stop, the most magical stop of them all. We're headed to the one, the only, well, not the only, there's a couple. The Kissimmee Walmart. Oh, the Walmart's by Disney World. What a joy. Gotta lay in some supplies for my Florida siege here. Look at this right inside the door. Look at that selection of margarita mix. Got my card here, gonna find a couple of groceries, maybe buy some Christmas presents, who knows? Oh, you know where to buy the sexiest Christmas bathing suits now. I have no microwave in the room I'm staying in yet, so I've got some Walmart guacamole here. There's a little mini fridge I can stick stuff in. I don't need much, just a few things I can eat when I get back to the room that are not fried chicken. Got some lunch meat, these good little protein packs things, and just to keep things homey, some Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. They don't have the cherry one. I wish they did. Weirdly, they have the blackberry one, though. Gross. Okay, not gross. Just not my jam. Would you look at the size of that Christmas bear. Gonna get some bottled water on the way out. But first, you gotta head to the Walmart Disney section. Look at these bargains for the plush. Oh, and it's not just the tower of plush Mickeys. Look at this. You got Disney neck pillows. You got princess dresses everywhere. That entire section in front of us is Disney t-shirts, Disney hats, Disney plush. There's even some Christmas shirts. Ooh, maybe I should pick up one of those festive t-shirts. Look at this. Disney backpacks, fan water bottles, Disney ponchos, whatever these things are. They also have Harry Potter stuff, some Universal themed stuff. Seriously, if I ever had another little kid with me, what I'd do is I'd come here, buy some souvenirs, right? Keep them in my bag and then be like, oh, let me get you a Mickey. Go into one of the stores, just come back out with the thing I already bought at Walmart. Pull the old switcheroo. Look at that. Frames, mugs, winter hats, lanyards, fanny packs. I know British Disney fans love a good fanny pack. Look at this. There's baby clothes, little sweatshirts. I mean, what's not to love? Look at this. Pajama sets for the whole family, even the dog. Ooh, I need some of this. I don't burn, but even I will toast up in Florida.
Hey, chill out, homie.
All right, I've done all my shopping, and since they don't have my size in any of these festive Christmas dresses, I think it's time to hotel, sleep well, and call it a day. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. There is some hot sauce left that you can still grab before Christmas. For now, though, we've done our duty. Time to go home and sleep well. I'll see you guys on the next one. got back to the hotel, and it's Epcot right there, Spaceship Earth. Got that guacamole, I was so stoked. Didn't buy any chips!